Hi there, future teacher, and welcome to this Praxis 5005 test prep lesson. This is video number 1 in our 3-part series covering everything you need to know for your upcoming exam about physical science. This video study guide strictly follows the content specifications laid out in the official Praxis study companion. So if you're looking for a refresher for these topics, you found the right video. Plus, if you want the accompanying study guide and our 2 full-length timed practice tests to make sure that you're ready for test day, I've put a link in the description below. Now in this video, we're going to be covering the physical and chemical properties of matter. We're going to be looking at the periodic table and how it's organized, and then I'll wrap this lesson up by discussing the differences between solutions and mixtures. All right, without further ado, let's begin. Hi there, future teacher, and welcome to this Praxis 5005 Physical Science Test Prep lesson, here to help you get that passing score on your upcoming exam. This video is proudly presented by teacherpreps.com. We'll start lesson 3 with our study guide chapter titled The Physical and Chemical Properties and Structure of Matter. Let's begin. The key topics taught in this lesson that you'll want to pay particularly close attention to are the following. First and foremost, we have atoms and elements. Then we'll move on to changes of states and matter. Then we have mixtures and solutions. All right, let's kick this lesson into gear and begin. First on the list include atoms and elements. Recall that an atom is the smallest unit of matter that retains the properties of an element. Atoms are composed of protons, which have a positive charge, as well as neutrons, which are neutral with no charge, and electrons, which carry a negative charge. The number of protons defines the element. For example, carbon always has 6 protons. An element is a pure substance made of only one type of atom. It is listed on this chart here, which is called the periodic table. Now, if you receive a question on test day asking you about how atoms are listed on the periodic table, remember to look for an answer option that lists the atoms by increasing atomic number. Remember, that means the number of protons. All right, an example could be carbon, which is C, oxygen, which is O. These are quick references regarding the periodic table. When elements combine through chemical reactions, they form what's called compounds. For example, on your screen you can see CO2. Atoms form chemical bonds in order to create more stable electron configurations. Types of chemical bonds include ionic bonds. This happens when one atom gives up one or more electrons to another atom, creating charged atoms that stick together. An example would be, for example, sodium chloride, which has the chemical formula that you can see right now, NaCl. All right, next we have covalent bonds, which are when atoms share electrons in order to stick together and fill up their outer electron shells. The example we can see on the screen right now is H2O, or water, which means 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Great. Now let's move on to a quick refresher about the common states of matter, which include solids, and these have a fixed shape and volume. Liquids, which have no fixed shape but a fixed volume. And gases, which have no fixed shape or volume. Great. Now let's move forward to the changes of state, starting with melting. This is like the ice cube changing from a solid to a liquid. This occurs at the melting point when particles gain energy to move freely. Next, we have freezing, which is the change from a liquid to a solid. This is like when you put water into the ice tray, Place the tray into the freezer and check it a few hours later, and the water or liquid has changed to a solid, which is now ice. Evaporation change causes a liquid to move to a gas. Up next is condensation, where a gas changes into a liquid. The term sublimation happens when a solid changes to a gas. And its reverse process, deposition, is when a gas changes directly to a solid. Up next, let's now move to talking about mixtures and solutions. Note that mixtures are a combination of two or more substances, not chemically bonded. There are two types of mixtures that you'll want to know for your exam. The first is a heterogeneous mixture. An example is a salad because you can see and pick out the individual ingredients. On the other hand, homogeneous mixtures have uniform composition. An example here would be salt dissolved in water, where the salt is evenly distributed throughout the solution. Now, solutions are a type of homogeneous mixture where one substance dissolves into another. The solvent is the substance doing the dissolving, which is often water, whereas the solute is the substance being dissolved, like salt or sugar in water. Next up, let's have a quick recap by integrating the concepts we've learned so far. Remember, atoms and elements are the building blocks of matter, which form the basis for understanding compounds, mixtures, and solutions. Changes of states involve adding or removing energy, affecting how closely particles are packed together. And of course, mixtures and solutions, these describe how substances combine physically with new bonds called mixtures or dissolve at the molecular level called solutions.